This is Showtime Shawn Porter, and you're watching True School Sports. Stay tuned.
Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
For USA Boxing, it was a great tournament. The hype around the amateur system is starting to heat up, and I'm excited about it, especially because I am introducing a new app and website to the world for amateur boxing.
Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure, that is amateurboxingchampions.com. It's a little bit of a process, but what we want to do is highlight the top four athletes, men and women in each division, and basically just start a paper trail for them. As they start to approach the 2024 games, I want them to have a following.
Absolutely.
I want the boxing world to know who these fighters are as they make their run at Olympic gold. And once they make the run in the professional ranks, I want the fans that started with them here to know them here. That way they're not brand new once they get to the pro ranks. So the amateurboxingchampions.com and the app, it serves multiple purposes, but that's definitely one focal point.
I love that because it's like a bridge from the amateurs to the professional, which there's kind of been a disconnect over the years. So that's really cool that you're doing that, and we definitely need something like that. So first of all, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get back involved with amateur boxing for a long time, with USA Boxing, and this is where I come from. And just brainstorming for myself, and then brainstorming with another great friend, and he said, you need an app.
Yeah.
He said, I can sit right here at my desk and see who's next in the NBA, just right here on my phone. And that's kind of how everything really got going in terms of it being an app. And now we're full go. The website is launched now, amateurboxingchampions.com, and the app is to follow definitely by next week.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is, in fact, a very major announcement. I would even go as far as to say that this is one of the biggest announcements that I've made on this channel ever in the whole history of True School Sports. So, what I wanted to say was this. We've obviously done a lot of good work here on True School Sports over the years, from delivering great interviews and original content, things like that. And that will always happen. That will always be priority number one for me covering the sport of boxing, because this boxing journey to me is very personal. But we have something else now that we're going to be doing along with True School Sports, and I'm just so excited to announce this. Myself, BT, the untouchable True School Sports, Brendan Taylor, your boy BT. I'll actually be working with Shawn Porter on a new project called the ABC, which is which is an acronym for Amateur Boxing Champions. Shawn Porter, the Shawn Porter, Showtime Shawn Porter. The two-time world champion Shawn Porter. He's ever since his last bout with Crawford, he's been a guy that he's moving into that next phase of his boxing life and his boxing journey. And from my understanding, he was told by a friend that he thinks it would have been a great idea for Shawn Porter to start a platform specifically dedicated to covering amateur boxing, right? And Shawn Porter thought it was a good idea. And one day in Las Vegas, I happened to be hanging out with my good buddy from FightHype.com, Shawn Zattel, one of the best reporters out there. And Shawn Zattel, obviously, with him being on the Porter Way podcast, he was offered the opportunity to work with Shawn Porter, and he will be as well, but not as much as he would covering the professionals. But Shawn Zattel told Shawn Porter about your boy BT, and then it's kind of just one of those things that just happened. Shawn Porter and I have been communicating. I've been getting to know him. He's been getting to know me. We were actually at this past weekend. We were at the USA National Qualifiers in Cleveland, Ohio, and Shawn really took a liking to me. He knew a little bit about me and things like that because Shawn Zattel told him a lot about me. But basically, I'm going to be working on covering the amateur boxing scene with Shawn Porter. The Amateur Boxing Champions will not just be a regular platform. It'll be probably the first platform of its kind where you're gonna have, like, you know how, for those that watch other sports, if you watch basketball and you want to know who the top 100 recruits are, who the best basketball players in high school are, you got Rivals.com. Same things goes for like websites like Max Preps, or if you're a baseball fan, Baseball America. These. So boxing doesn't really have that. There's always been a bit of a disconnect between professional boxing and amateur boxing, because normally even the best amateurs in the USA, you don't really hear about them until these guys until the Olympics, or you see them in the pros. But what Shawn Porter and myself want to do is we want to get eyeballs on the amateur fighters as they're coming up, as they're going through the Olympic trials, as they're fighting in the major tournaments. And we want to really bridge that gap for boxing fans between the pros and the amateurs, because I think the sport would be a lot healthier if the amateur boxers had their own platform. This amateur boxing champions, the ABC, is going to be an app where an actual app where you can see who's the best fighter at light heavyweight or whatever weight class you want, and you can actually know who some of the guys up next are in the amateurs as they go to the pros. And this will give the amateur fighters more of a platform, more eyeballs, and it's just better for the sport. So I'm extremely excited to work with Shawn Porter, because he's extremely knowledgeable. You can see that, and it's obviously been reflected in his boxing career. It was reflected in his boxing commentary. And after talking to him, like really spending time with the guy and talking to him and picking his brain about boxing and talking about different topics, I've actually learned that Shawn Porter is a much more smart a boxing mind than people want to give him credit for. So I'm just like, I really feel like, over the years, like I'll be honest with you guys, over the years, grinding here on YouTube, it's been a long journey, been up and down. Last year, I'm in the middle of last year, I almost left YouTube for good when just some things weren't going right. But over the years, like, I've had chances to work with Radio Raheem, turned it down. Had chances to work with Ellie Sekback, turned it down. Had chances to work with Fight Hype, turned it down. And respect to all those platforms, because I've enjoyed content on each of those platforms, but none of them just ever felt right. Like I didn't want to just go to another platform just for the sake of making money. I wanted, if I was gonna do anything aside from True School Sports, I wanted to be something meaningful. Because when I first got into the sport of boxing and covering it, one of my goals, like one of the reasons I got into boxing, was because I felt like boxing wasn't being covered properly, and I wanted to make the sport a better place, right? And I don't always meet that requirement. Sometimes I fall into the bullshit that other people do here on YouTube, like, just not really being the person or being the guy that I want to be all the time. But I've done a fairly good job. But this, to me, when it was offered to me, and when I talked to Shawn Porter, just felt right. I have a chance now to really do some more meaningful work in the sport. This is obviously very meaningful here at True School Sports, but I can do additional meaningful work, and I'm going to be giving back to the sport in a lot of ways through what I'm doing with Shawn Porter and the ABC. So look, right now as it stands, we're still in the beginning phases of like developing the platform. But there will be more details coming out about that soon. I just want to announce it because I've known about this for a while. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to cover the future young stars of boxing. I actually recorded a couple, like 5 fights from the national qualifiers for some, and the fighters that I recorded were very, very good fighters. So those will be dropping soon. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because there's just a lot of talent out there. These young fighters deserve a platform, a real platform. I'm not talking about no website where you just have the rankings. No, a fucking real platform where they're gonna really get their shine, and people will know who these fighters are before they come to the pros. And this will make boxing better. This will actually give you guys, like the subscribers of my channel or other channels that just really love this sport, it'll give you guys more content to access and view and something else to talk about, because you can only talk about Crawford and Spence and Canelo Bivol and all these different types of fights that are happening so many times. So it's just going to be better for the sport. From my understanding, like Shawn's working hand in hand with USA Boxing, getting information as far as like tournaments and even help with some streaming things and things like that. So it's gonna be massive. It's gonna be absolutely massive. I hope you guys that support this channel will also support not just me, but what Shawn Porter has going on at the ABC and Amateur Boxing Champions. So as things develop, I'll definitely keep you guys clued in on what's going on. But Shawn Porter actually did an interview on Behind the Gloves and talked about it briefly, and I was actually in the background. You'll see me in the background watching Serrano Taylor on the phone, but he talked about it as well. So it's gonna be just something special, and I really hope it's well. I really hope and pray that it's well received by the boxing world, and I think it will, because when you get a guy with the name of Shawn Porter, who's as smart as he is, and then you get a young, hungry, fairly good boxing mind in his own right, myself, I really think it's a recipe for success. So that's what it is. The untouchable True School Sports. Join Showtime Shawn Porter on the Amateur Boxing Champions platform, dedicated specifically to covering all the biggest and the best amateur boxers from the United States, at least initially. I don't know if we're gonna be doing other countries as well, but right now we're just sticking to the home base, the USA. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys definitely take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God.